Michael Hayden went on Face the Nation this weekend. Now, remember, he's former head of the CIA and former head of the NSA. And he was one of the biggest advocates of course, NSA's secret spying program, partly because he's the one that created it. So he wants to go out there and defend it. He says something interesting, though, that might undermine his cause. First of all, let's have him talk about the program in general.
This issue of transparency. And so the president is trying to take some steps to make the American people more comfortable about what it is we're doing. That's going to be hard because, frankly, Bob, some steps to make Americans more comfortable will actually make Americans less safe.
Boo! Okay, the usual stuff about you're going to be less safe. Oh my God, if we don't spy in on you, you're going to be so unsafe from yourself. Now, what's interesting is that Hayden is pretty much representing the Obama administration here when he was the head of the NSA under Bush. This gives you a sense of exactly how much Obama has become. In the words of former Bush administration officials, this term is Bush's fourth term. Oof. And here's Bush's man who started this secret illegal spying program defending the Obama administration.
When you're looking in your rearview mirror after the next successful attack, this runs the danger of looking like bureaucratic layering. And so you need to be careful about how many processes you put in there, even though I freely admit you don't get to do this at all unless the American people feel comfortable about it.
Oh, are you not merciful? Thank you. Oh, the American people have to agree to the spying that you're doing behind their back. For a second there, I wasn't sure if we had a democracy. Thank you for agreeing to that. Although, of course, you know, it will add bureaucracy. No, you're the bureaucracy. We never voted for you, Michael Hayden. And you come in here and you do illegal spying on Americans, then you say, I guess if the American people are against it, we should take that into consideration. Now, what's interesting is that Edward Snowden warned us about people like Michael Hayden. Remember when he said this in a portion of the interview they did with the Guardian right after the revelations? Watch.
A new leader will be elected. They'll flip the switch, say that because of the crisis, because of the dangers that we face in the world, you know, some new and unpredicted threat, we need more authority, we need more power, and there will be nothing the people can do at that point to oppose it, and it'll be turnkey tyranny.
As Michael Hayden is speaking against Edward Snowden's revelations, listen to him basically admit that Snowden was totally right. Watch.
This is no one's proposal, all right? But you've got this metadata here. It's now queried under very, very narrow circumstances. If the nation suffers an attack, there are other things you could do with that metadata. There are other tools. So in that kind of an emergency, perhaps you would go to the court and say, in addition to these very limited queries we're now allowed to do, we actually want to launch some complex algorithms against it.
Turnkey totalitarianism. Michael Hayden saying, well, if there is another attack, we already have the metadata, and all we'd have to do is turn the key. And then we could do more complicated algorithms, meaning search you any damn way we please. If we view you to be an enemy of the state, not as in an actual physical danger, but if you are opposed to the government, like Edward Snowden, and you want to reveal things about the government, Bradley Manning, etc., we turn the key. We already have the metadata, and after another attack, how can you possibly oppose us? It's ironically Hayden's way of saying, you're lucky we didn't abuse your rights even more already, and after the next attack, we almost certainly will. Well, thanks for giving us a heads up on that. Now, how about the guy who revealed that information? No. Not a hero, not someone who let the American people know what their government was actually up to, which now Hayden begrudgingly says, well, I guess you're supposed to know. Well, what does he think of Snowden?
And I've actually thought about this, and clearly the debate was coming. He accelerated it. He didn't inform it. He made it more emotional. And so, you know, there's some real downsides to what he's done.
How can you say he didn't inform it? You wouldn't be having any of these conversations if he didn't inform the debate. Now you acknowledge everything he said is true. Before, you were lying about what he said. In fact, you weren't revealing it at all. You were actively lying to Congress, as James Clapper was, to say that it didn't exist. He started the debate. What do you mean he didn't inform it? And this is the dismissive way that our government treats us. Oh, you've gotten all emotional. The fact that we were illegally spying on you, you got all carried away with your emotions because we violated your rights and we violated the Fourth Amendment and we ignored the Constitution. I guess you got all emotional about your rights, did you? Look at how smug they are. Remember that this is supposed to be our government. Do you get any sense of that from Michael Hayden? He continues about Snowden.
How I view Mr. Snowden, and with regard to how to categorize him, we used to have a word for somebody who stole our secrets, who got the job to steal our secrets, and then he moved with those secrets to a foreign country and made those secrets public. It wasn't whistleblower, it was defector. And I actually think that's a very good word for him.
Do you think he's a traitor? Would you go that far?
Traitor is narrowly defined in the Constitution. I'll stick with defector.
Oh, is he not merciful? By the way, defectors would take the information and not hand it over to the American people. They would hand it over to a foreign government. That is not what Snowden did, so your definition makes no sense. You just want to smear the guy no matter what. Now, we've caught you lying about this program over and over. Under Bush, you said it wasn't warrantless wiretapping, and it turns out it was warrantless wiretapping. Then under Obama, you guys said, no, we're not collecting information on all Americans. Then it turns out you were collecting information on all Americans. So how do you respond to these charges of the NSA perhaps not being quite altogether that truthful?
Has the agency been candid with members of Congress whose job is to hold oversight on them?
The agency's been tremendously candid. And let me apologize to members of Congress that this is just a complicated subject, all right? And it's just hard to understand.
Oh, that was beautiful. We haven't lied about anything. We've been perfectly candid, but let me apologize to them anyway. And I would like to apologize for them being knuckleheads, for them being so stupid they couldn't figure out this complicated project. Wait a minute. You didn't explain it to them. You purposely hid it. And if any of them asked probing questions, as Senator Wyden did, as Senator Udall did, you dismissed them and said, don't you dare talk about this in public. We will also prosecute you. This is classified information. Shut up and don't even tell the rest of the senators. Don't tell the rest of the people in the House of Representatives. Shut up. But those are the guys that were asking the questions. It wasn't that complicated to them. They figured it out. And you wouldn't let them talk about it. But he's going to rub it in a little bit more like, oh, I guess it was your fault that we hid the information in footnotes. And if you asked about it, we told you under penalty of law that you are to never talk about it either to the rest of Congress or the American people. Watch.
And by the way, every member of Congress was invited to read a letter in 2009 and in 2011 that specifically said, we are gathering the metadata on all calls in the United States. But it really does require a great deal of work. And Chairman Rogers, the chairman of the House Intel Committee, had a great phrase in some recent commentary. He said, hey, look, if you don't have time to be a member of the Intelligence Committee and dedicate your time to it, then you shouldn't be a member of the committee.
Well, the guys who were active members of the Intelligence Committee are the ones you fought hardest against. The ones you said, under no circumstances are you allowed to tell the American people what we're actually up to. And then he dismissively tells the rest of them, we sent you a letter with footnotes at some point that among the avalanche of stuff that we sent you, the fact that you couldn't find that, too bad for you. We effectively hid it. Does it seem the NSA has been candid with the rest of us, with Congress or the American people? Hayden is a despicable character. He's exactly the kind of bureaucrat that rises in dictatorships, in authoritarian governments, and has great dismissive derision and disdain for the American people, for any people that he would lord over. And he views Congress as an inconvenience. So was Snowden right about turnkey totalitarianism? Overwhelmingly so. And the guy who proves him right is ironically the former head of the NSA, who says after the next attack, we can turn that key at any time.